Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are undoubtedly the two best football players in the world. However, there was one player who seemed destined to become even better than they are. He broke nearly all of Messi's academy records and was hailed as the greatest talent on the planet. Let's take a look at how the story of Bojan Krkić unfolded. It all started when his father decided to end his professional career and found work as a youth coach. Similar to Messi, whose talent was discovered when he had to play a youth match due to the absence of some boys, Bojan's father had to put his son on the field for the same reason, even though he was only there to watch the game. As soon as Bojan stepped onto the pitch, he stole the ball and ran toward the goal. Parents yelled at him to calm down because the other kids were several years older than him, but by the end of the match, he had scored 3 goals. From that moment, Bojan's name became increasingly well known, and at the age of just 7, he was a local legend. When summer arrived and training paused, he was sent to a football summer camp. He thought he was playing just for fun, but in the stands was Joan Martinez Villaseca, one of Barcelona's best scouts, responsible for discovering Mikel Arteta, Xavi, and Fabregas. After the training session, Villaseca picked up the phone and called Barcelona. "You have to come and see this wonder kid. He's doing things even first-team players can't do." They wasted no time, and as soon as they saw him, they were immediately convinced. On the day he arrived at La Masia, everyone was amazed at how easily he fit in. From that point on, it was one record after another. In his first season, he scored 126 goals, completely absurd numbers that convinced Barcelona to fund his family's move to the city, even bringing along his grandparents when they worried the boy was struggling mentally. Over the years, Bojan became not only one of La Masia's greatest products but one of the best young talents football had ever seen. At age 15, Bojan was invited to represent Spain in the U17 European Championship, even though it meant playing with boys 2 years older. In his first easy match against Luxembourg, Bojan got his chance to prove himself, and scored a hat-trick in just 28 minutes. In the next game against Russia, he was left on the bench, but when the team struggled, Bojan came on and inspired a comeback. He later scored against Hungary as well. Going into the semi-finals as tournament favorites, everything seemed to be going right until an unexpected event. A teammate was sent off, leading to a shocking 0-2 loss to the Czech Republic. Even so, Bojan finished as the tournament's top scorer with 5 goals. Following this remarkable performance and breaking Messi's La Masia scoring record with 889 goals, he joined Barcelona's B team. He managed to surpass nearly every record Lionel Messi had set just a few years prior. Despite a tough start in the B team, Bojan made his first team debut for Barcelona in a friendly against Al Ahly later that year. A few months later, Spain called Bojan up for the U17 World Cup. They knew they had one of the best players of his age and wanted to maximize his potential. They ignored warnings from Barcelona about his injured knee, even blocking them from sending a doctor to monitor his condition. Nevertheless, Bojan participated in the tournament in style, scoring his first goal just minutes into the competition and adding another before the end of the match. Despite these incredible performances, the attention Bojan received across Spain triggered a mental process that would affect the rest of his career. As he later said, "My life changed at the World Cup. No one knew me before, but when I returned, I couldn't even walk down the street." This immense pressure took a toll on Bojan's mental health, and he began to suffer from severe anxiety. Despite his international success, Bojan's mental health struggles began to surface at Barcelona, where he was promoted to the first team. Shortly after his 17th birthday, he debuted against Osasuna. Days later, he played his first Champions League match and scored his first goal for the club, becoming the youngest Barcelona player ever to do so and breaking records previously held by Lionel Messi. Although Bojan ended his debut season with 8 La Liga goals, breaking Raúl's record for most goals scored in a debut La Liga season, his mental health problems continued. In February of that year, Bojan was called up to make his debut for the Spanish national team against France. Seeing his name in the starting lineup, he knew he would become the youngest player ever to debut for Spain. However, the immense expectations caused Bojan to suffer a severe anxiety attack, leading him to withdraw from the match. This situation repeated itself throughout the season, and despite his efforts, Bojan became trapped in a cycle of anxiety and fear of failure. Eventually, he declined to participate in the European Championship, a decision misunderstood by the public and heavily criticized in the media. At Barcelona, Pep Guardiola replaced Frank Rijkaard as head coach, and Bojan found himself mostly limited to cup matches and games against lower-tier teams. Over time, Bojan's frustration grew, especially as his teammates celebrated a Champions League victory without him. By his third season, he tried his best to secure a spot in the team, but the arrival of David Villa made it clear he was no longer in Barcelona's plans. Bojan eventually pushed for a transfer and left for AS Roma on loan, followed by stints at AC Milan, Ajax, and Stoke City. Each move marked another chapter in his attempts to escape the immense pressure of being labeled the next Messi. This was not helped by a report that went viral worldwide. During a study of Lionel Messi's family tree, scientists were shocked to discover that Bojan and Messi were distant cousins, as their great-great-grandparents were brothers. The key point is that just as Bojan seemed ready to escape the label of the next Messi, this viral revelation made the situation significantly worse. Despite a promising start at Stoke, where he scored against top teams like Tottenham, Arsenal, and Leicester, his career was interrupted by a torn ACL, sidelining him for 9 months. Upon his return, Bojan continued to fight but never managed to regain his early form. Ultimately, Bojan moved to leagues like MLS and Japan's J-League before retiring. Bojan Krkic's story is a testament to the challenges of immense expectations and the importance of mental health in achieving success.